Police had to be called in to diffuse tensions at Osizweni in Newcastle, north of KwaZulu-Natal, where ANC Deputy President David Mabuza was leading a campaign. A group of disgruntled ANC members claimed their preferred candidate was sidelined because of his disability. Bheki Thwala, who is blind, says he received overwhelming support during community meetings. Let's cross now. We're joined by our reporter Jayed-Leigh in Newcastle. She's on the line for us. Jade, thank you so much. Tell us about what you know about what happened today.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Francis, and to the viewers back at home. Well, the Deputy President of the country, in his capacity as the Deputy President of the ANC, was leading a campaign trail in Newcastle, in particularly the Osizweni area, and he was going door to door, speaking to community members, and that was, for the better part of the morning, engaging with communities, speaking to them, hearing their grievances as well. Many of them spoke about the service delivery issues that they have in Newcastle, as well as in the Osizweni area. Many speaking about water, electricity, housing, and he engaged them. He spoke about why it was important to vote for the ANC, or what challenges that the ANC has, but what difference that they can bring as well. And also, calling on many to vaccinate. So he was also driving a vaccination program whilst doing his door-to-door campaign. Once we got to a community hall, he did also engage with some community members. I was speaking to the mayor of Newcastle, who also happens to be the ANC chairperson, Ntutuko Mahlaba. And during that crossing, there was already tensions on the ground. Whilst I was speaking to Mr. Mahlaba, there was community members who were very disgruntled. They didn't want us to speak to him. They were also trying to intimidate him during that crossing. And you could already feel and sense that tension in the area. We weren't at the time sure as to why there were simmering tensions. We do know that the Newcastle area has been marred with a lot of factions within the ANC, a lot of political squabbles. So we imagined that, this was just coming out to the fore. But we subsequently spoke to community members who then alerted us to a ward council nominee candidate. His name was Bheki Thwala, and he stood for ward councillor in that area close to the community hall in Osizweni, and he apparently is blind. He won an outright majority of 109 votes. The community were backing him. They wanted him to represent him in that particular ward. But because he is blind, he says that the ANC sidelined him. And this is what the community was saying. So when we saw the Deputy President of the ANC coming into that area, they shunned him. They weren't too happy. He was alerted, that being the Deputy President of the ANC, he was alerted to the fact that this issue has happened. When we spoke to Bheki Thwala, he did tell us that, the Deputy President is aware of this particular issue. It was then that community started clashing. There was also a small group of EFF members that was also in that area. Not many of them wearing their T-shirts, but once you moved down the road, those red T-shirts started coming up. So there was a lot of dynamics that were playing in that particular area at the time that those clashes happened. But police did try and contain the issue, the violence that ensued. And then the Deputy President was able to lead off with, the convoy to his next destination. However, the last stop was supposed to be at an ANC truck where he was supposed to address, scores of ANC members as well as the community members in the Osizweni area, just talking to them about how the campaign has been throughout the day, and also, asking them to vote for the ANC, handing out T-shirts and regalia. That did not happen. Yeah. We, as the media, were stationed outside there in that particular field where we were supposed to address the members. But then we were told at the 11th hour that no, he was actually catching a chartered flight to Newcastle. So as it stands, We do not know the reasoning why the Deputy President of the ANC had to pull out of that last engagement. We're not sure if it's linked to the commotion that occurred earlier on, or if he did have a more important engagement to attend.
All right, thanks, Jade. And we had visuals of some of the violence there. Just very, very quickly, so the Deputy President may have abandoned that itinerary event. We don't know. Do you know if anyone was seriously injured, anything like that, or has calm returned, as they say?
No, calm has returned to the area. If you were watching the visuals, there were clashes with community members and police officers. I think a police officer did sustain a few injuries, but nothing fatal, nothing that warrants attention, medical attention. But there were clashes between the community and a particular police officer. As it stands now, we're not so sure, Francis, because this is a 2-day event. The Deputy President of the ANC was supposed to also address the Siyanqoba rally, which is taking place in Ladysmith tomorrow. We do have word on the ground that he will actually commit himself to that engagement tomorrow, which takes place at 11 o'clock. The media we are driving on the way there now, so we're hoping to speak to him about what occurred today and also some of the other issues that have cropped up, and hopefully we can take that live tomorrow.
All right, Jayed-Leigh, thank you very much for that update. And it sounds like this is linked to what the ANC has touted as a great way of picking councillor candidates using not only the ANC branch members, but the communities themselves to see who they support. But somebody saying that they have the community support but were not chosen by that particular ANC grouping in the area.